Welcome into episode 3 of the Players Lounge, a collaborative effort between Inside Carolina and Heels4Life. I'm Tommy Ashley. That's Joey Powell. If you're watching us on the YouTube version of this, you see the man in the middle, Caleb Hood, North Carolina running back. How you doing, Caleb?
I'm good. How are you?
We are well here. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. If folks are listening and have not checked out, uh, myself and Taylor Viplis talked to Drake May a couple weeks ago. Joey Powell and Vip talked to Cayman Rucker last week. Like I said, this is episode 3. Joey, just before we get into it, tell everybody how important the collaboration with Heels4Life is doing these podcasts, but not only that, for North Carolina football as well.
You've seen on the IC message boards and just in general conversation around Carolina football, everybody wants to make sure that the NIL world is equal in Chapel Hill as it is everywhere else. Well, this is the way to do it. Support Heels4Life. Heels4Life is the official NIL collective for Carolina football. They help not only make sure the players are having chance to make some money off their own name, image, and likeness. But they also connect these players with nonprofit organizations and chances to do good work in their community. But it's just an all-around good organization. And if you'd like to be a part of it, go to heels4life.org. See it right there on the screen. Or if you're not watching us and you're listening, heels4life.org. Find out how you can contribute and how you can get more involved. Tommy, I got to say before we get off into this, I know usually you're kind of carrying the flag of being the old man here. But I want to start and say I had classes with Errol Hood. He and I were in French class and something else together my freshman year of school. So this has got me in the Tommy Ashley chair feeling really old right now. So
Well,
Tommy, I'm gonna sit back and lick my wounds and let you start driving right now because man, I am all kinds of in my feelings.
well, let me tell you, at least you were in school when he was. I was doing this stuff when he was playing. And I know, Caleb, you always hear about people remembering your pops and all that, but just what's your first memory of the game of football growing up in a football household?
My first memory of football is I played soccer. When I first started playing sports, and I remember it was one game I wasn't paying attention really good. I was like there was a football practice going on like on the bottom field where I was playing at. I just kept watching the game like during my soccer game, and then I ended up accidentally kicking the ball in the wrong goal. And then I remember the game after that. My mom was like, "Yeah, we're gonna sign you up for football," and it's pretty much been going after that.
So growing up down there in Richmond County, I mean, we were talking a little bit off the air. My memories of Richmond County football: Mike Thomas, Oscar Sturgis. I think Norwood played down there. Just ridiculous football. What was it like growing up in that environment, and then having the opportunity to put on that uniform and really have such success that you did?
It was awesome. Growing up and seeing those Friday night games. You just wanted to play in those games. When you got older, and I had the chance. My grandpa, he was the coach for a while, and he ended up moving to Eatonton. And I had to make a tough decision on if I wanted to play with him, or if I wanted to stay and then play at Richmond County. And just growing up there and then building chemistry with a lot of friends and stuff, playing AAU ball and stuff like that. I just decided to stay, and it pretty much worked out. I had a great time. Made a lot of memories, and it was really fun. So
We talked about your dad earlier. Obviously he had his own path at Carolina. But
yeah,
once you got into football, was it always going to be Chapel Hill for you? Was it always going to be Carolina Blue? Was it always going to be UNC?
pretty much. It wasn't really like his decision or my family's decision. Me and my brothers and sisters, we've always been huge Carolina fans, ride or die. So it wasn't really necessarily like I had to go to Carolina, but I just it was my dream growing up, and then once I got the opportunity, I couldn't really turn it down, especially with Coach Brown coming back. So
I think one of the things a lot of people don't appreciate is that there can sometimes be extra pressure when you're coming in as a legacy. Did you ever feel that, or what was that like for you?
it wasn't really like necessarily pressure. I know like going on other visits, like I had like coaches like tell me like, oh yeah, I know your dad went to Carolina, but we still want to try to get you over here and stuff. But I mean, it was kind of like it kind of felt more awkward going to other schools and stuff. But I never really felt any like pressure, so to speak.
When you were being recruited, first of all, what other schools were in the mix for you? I mean, Carolina was it, but what other schools tried? And then how big a deal was it for you? You played quarterback in high school, really did everything in high school, but you ultimately switched to running back. How big a deal was the quarterback factor in your recruitment?
Early in my like high school career, it was kind of important to me. Like I felt like, I wanted to play quarterback, and then part of it was just trying to, prove to myself that I could play quarterback on the college level, and like just get college attention as a quarterback. And then I like started realizing that it might benefit me more if I like would branch out and just tell coaches that I would like be willing to play another position, and that kind of ended up working out with some other schools. But just in all, like I just wanted to prove to myself that I could play quarterback, at the next level. But other than that, like it didn't really have like that much of an effect.
Random question: if you did not go to Carolina, where might you have gone? Put you on the spot.
I don't really know. I know I liked Tennessee. They came in late, like after I like committed. They came in late, and instead of Michigan State, probably one of those, maybe Tennessee, because I like the mountains. It's a great environment up there. So
That's interesting. I always ask people because people always assume that legacies like yourself or they're going to Carolina. I mean, all the discussion about Drake and all that noise in the offseason, I mean, it's Carolina legacy. There's one place for him to play. So it's interesting to hear you talk about another school. What's the transition been like? I mean, you're a couple years in now, but you're still sort of making that transition to running back. Has it been difficult for you not having the ball in your hands every single play on the college level, or has it been good for you in that regard?
I feel like it's been pretty good for me. Just seeing everything through a different perspective. Obviously, you love having the ball in your hands every single play, but I get to make plays more using my athletic ability. And now, like more in high school, I was kind of like dishing it off, getting it to my playmakers. So now I'm kind of one of those playmakers for Drake. And it's fun though. It's definitely been challenging. I didn't get hit in practice at all, and I only got hit. I didn't get hit really on Fridays until like probably near the playoffs. So so it's definitely been different. Just hitting and having contact every single day. And then I run a lot more at running back. So than I did in practice at high school and quarterback. So it's definitely a lot different, but it's really fun. So
I think it's a lot of folks probably don't realize that not only were you a quarterback in high school, you put up some gaudy numbers as a quarterback in high school. I mean, some record-breaking, like state record book type numbers. So, making that transition, what's something that you were able to hang on to as a high school quarterback that now makes you a better running back? What are some things you were able to pull through, once you made that change that maybe is it seeing the field? Is it understanding, is understanding which way movement's going to go? Is it understanding, what the quarterback's thinking? Help us understand the kind of the through line from going to a quarterback to a running back.
So I feel like just playing quarterback overall, it helped me like see the field better. I know like pass protection wise, it helped me see like the way like you pick up blitzes and who the offensive line has, who the running back has, and then who the quarterback has to pass off of. So I feel like that definitely played like a big role in making that part of the game a lot easier for me. Just seeing defensive tendencies and stuff like that, it definitely helped. Just having to like be aware of all those things. And so it just it kind of just sped up the process of like having to like worry about all that other stuff. So made it a lot easier on me whenever I had to play running back because I was basically just responsible for one position instead of everybody else on the field. So
you talked about how you didn't get hit in high school, and then you really didn't get touched on Fridays until you guys were getting close to playoff time. Help us understand what's something that maybe you didn't expect about the position change, or was there a day where you're now in the running back group and somebody lights you up and you just weren't expecting it? Like share one of those memories with us and kind of the moment was like, okay, I'm not a QB anymore.
It was probably the first day of padded practice. We had like a perimeter drill, and I was like rolling out to like block. It was a dude named Kadri Jackson. He transferred, but he lit me up, and my Coach Porter he got on me. I was like, yeah, I gotta do something. This ain't fun. But yeah, it definitely woke me up, and I was like, yeah, like you got to be physical every single play. It's a physical position. It's obviously a physical game, but you know, once you kind of get that down, you get comfortable with that. You know, obviously, you can't just have like one good practice, one physical practice, and come back and go, oh, I'm just gonna be soft today. Like you got to bring it every day. So it's definitely different from that aspect.
What would you say that was your welcome to college moment there in practice?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I had a few, but you know, that was probably the one I was like, oh, yeah, it's because my family was there, everybody was watching and stuff, so I was like, dang, like,
I remember you thumped somebody in one of those open practices, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's nice there." But on the field in a game, um, you know, I think about the App State run. But what did you when did you realize, man, I'm a college running back, and
it
I'm
was
a pretty good college running back?
it was definitely the app game. I mean, I know I had like a pretty decent game against Virginia my freshman year, but I was kind of like just I didn't really know what was going on. I was just running around. I like a chicken with his head cut off. You know, I didn't really. I was just decided to be out there. But you know, probably definitely the app game. You know, I felt like I was not necessarily like. I mean, I know I had a few big runs, but I felt like I was being consistent and like just managing everything pretty good. So that's definitely when I felt like I was like, all right, I think I can do this.
So the App State game, you called it out. Uh, there was the long run where you came up 3 yards short
Yeah.
of taking it to the house. I know how college football players are. Which teammate, when you came to the sidelines, was in your ear the most about not getting across the white line and getting 6 there?
My roommate Diego. Diego Pounds, he was talking trash, but basically all my roommates we're all really close. Him and JJ Jones, yeah, they were definitely letting me hear it like for probably about a week or two. But,
I think Tommy's alluding to it a little bit. You know, that app game kind of was your coming out party. You're right,
mhm.
and I think that something you've been able to do in making that transition from quarterback to running back is you're not afraid to lower your head on somebody. You know, you've got good size on you. You know, your lower body's pretty thick. You're able to you know to lower the boom when you have to.
Yeah.
How do you get from being a quarterback who doesn't get touched to turning into a running back that has to, on occasion, truck somebody? What's the change there mentally?
I mean, I like really I didn't really like. I wasn't necessarily like one of those run you over type of guys in high school. I was always a juker. I was on like 205, like 210. So I was mostly like I would either try to outrun you or like juke you or something. I wasn't really going to try to shuck you or anything. Now, our coach really emphasizes physicality and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm a bigger guy, so obviously now everybody's faster. So that's really like the main thing. Everybody's fast. So like I'm just like, all right, I just got to run through them. I can't really outrun them now. I gotta do something else. So that's kind of where that comes from now.
When you look at your career thus far, you've had some injuries. You've had, you know, the App State. Everybody's, you know, jacked up. You know, Hood's going to be a great running back. He's going to do well, and then you've had some untimely injuries. What's that been like mentally and personally dealing with those type things? I mean, football is a contact sport, and like you mentioned earlier, when you're a running back, you're getting hit all the time. But as far as getting injured and missing time, how's that been for you mentally going through that process?
It's definitely frustrating. Because we all work hard, whether you play or not. All these guys work hard. We all work. We all work extremely hard just to, just to even be on the team. And it's just frustrating. Even if you don't play, like, getting hurt and then you can't participate in practice or anything. So I remember, I said in me and JJ's podcast, Alex Mars, when I first got here, he was like talking to like me and I can't remember who else. He was like, you don't like. He pointed like to some red jerseys. He was like, you don't want to be in those. That's the easiest way, to get on the coach's bad side. And then I was like, all right, noted. And then that obviously ended up happening to me a few times. So, or I mean, more than a few, but it's definitely been frustrating. But just having that support system. I mean, everybody on the team, like they support me. The trainers. We have our own like people you can see for that stuff. For mental health. And they just did all the coaching and everything. Just did a good job. Keeping everything positive. So it's definitely been hard, but at the same time, stuff happens. Everything happens for a reason. I believe that God doesn't put you through anything that you can't overcome. So, and I got that tatted on my arm. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's definitely from my experience talking to guys in your shoes. That's definitely you got to have that. You got to have that mindset because it can be rough, especially on young athletes. And you've been through it all so far. Carolina's got a new offense, relatively new offense. Chip Lindsey's come in he's one of the changes this year. Just looking, at your running back room, and then with Chip Lindsey and Randy Clements on the offensive line, what'll change this year for North Carolina fans looking at Carolina's offense? And I think the general thought is Lindsey doesn't need to screw it up, you know. But when you look down at it a lot, there are a lot of improvements that can be made. What have you seen in the spring and over the course of the summer so far? Improvements that we might see as far as the running game for North Carolina.
That's basically it. They put a big emphasis on the running game. We have a lot of different types of runs and stuff we can do to run the ball. Passing game. That is what it is. It's kind of we might tweak some things here and there for the passing game, but other than that, it's really honestly just the running game. Not even as much as we can change and do whatever. I guess we just gotta keep pushing forward and you just running the ball is kind of so it's a physical thing, so we just gotta work at it and just get through it. So
Caleb, you guys have a very, very crowded running back room, but in a sense, you guys are all different. What's something
yeah.
that you feel like every other guy in that room brings to the offense that's different from the guy next to him?
I feel like George, he's really quick, super fast, probably one of the fastest on the team and quickest on the team. British, he's obviously he's a veteran. I learned most of everything from him. Obviously he's super strong. He's fast. Amarion, he has it all pretty much. He's a great running back and he's young. He's growing. Elijah, he's also a veteran. He's super fast as well. And he brings a lot to the table mentally, and he just his preparation. Obviously, you see last year, not playing much, and then at the end of the season, getting thrown in there, and he was ready. So, that speaks volumes on him. And then me, I feel like I'm a pretty good pass catcher out the backfield, and I feel like I'm pretty balanced. But I feel like at the end of the day, we all got to be ready because at running back, you never know. You see last year, a few of us got banged up. British got out, I got out. So you just got to be ready. So, but I feel like all of us, have something to bring to the table. So,
one of the things about running backs are they all become squat rack freaks, right? Like as soon as you make that, as soon as you make that change, everybody wants to see who's got the strongest lower body in the room. Who's the strongest out of y'all? Who's right now? If all of y'all go to Coach Hess,
definitely Marion. That dude is free. Like he's strong. He's strong for sure.
When you look at a guy like him, I mean, I feel like you've got a little more shiftiness. You mentioned your quarterback skills and doing that. If you had to be a scout and you had to tell your guys, and this might be a tough question, but I want you to be honest if you can. How would those guys in the room, not named Caleb Hood, improve? I think Amarion's vision probably is near the top. In high school at Cleveland, he was used to just plowing everybody. And it doesn't happen in college, but it's just sort of break down the room that way. And you can start with Amarion and to see him improve and get better in the offseason and look better on the field, what does he need to do?
I mean, obviously, coming in freshman year, I mean, it can be a lot. I feel like, just, seeing things better. I mean, obviously, everybody can work on their vision. Sometimes just get overwhelmed with stuff, and then it clouds your mind. You're like, you get in your own head. But he'll be fine. He plays football pretty much his whole life, so he'll be fine. George, he's obviously a really talented guy. I think me and him both how to work on pass protection. But other than that, he has pretty much all of it. I think he's going to be really special. Elijah, obviously he's been playing a lot. He played a lot towards the end of the season. I mean, I don't really know how to I don't know. He's really fast. So I'm trying to think of something that he can improve on. I know all of us are trying to make a big emphasis on pass protection. So that's one thing that everybody in the whole room could pretty much improve on, except for British. Probably he's a stud when it comes to pass protection. And then me and BB right now, we're just trying to get back out there and stay healthy for a season. So he was out all last year. He just wants to come back in. He had a really breakout game against State, and then against South Carolina. I know he's just itching to get back out there and finish his last year. And I'm excited to get back out there as well. I haven't really had like a full healthy season yet, so hopefully we can get some momentum going towards the fall and stay healthy.
How important is it for every player, but players that have dealt with injuries or whatever misgivings or misfortunes they have, to have guys that have been through it? I mean, British has been around for a long time. He was ready for a breakout season, like you mentioned, and he goes out all year. But you get to see him up front, up close, deal with it, process it, and work through it. How big a deal is that for you and other players on this roster?
Oh, it's huge. Just I mean, a guy like that, he could have easily been like, whatever, like I'm done with this, and be negative about it. But he was positive. He came in every day. He coached us. He helped every practice. He was in every meeting. He was always there, and he was. You could tell he was itching to get better and just get back out there, and he's pretty much fully healthy now. He's getting back to full strength. So it's really good to see, because it's not all the time you see guys just be positive about stuff like that, because it can really affect you mentally, and so it's great to see.
Caleb, you were talking about pass protection, and let's look at the trophy in the room. When you've got a Heisman hopeful and Drake May taking snaps,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
does that change? Does that give you extra pressure? When you see him as one of the top two, one of the top two favorites from Vegas to win the trophy. How does that change how y'all handle pass protection? Do you hear a little more from the coaches? Do you hear a little more from from your offensive coordinator about, hey, we got to clean this up, or he can't get touched, or does that cause you guys to put more pressure on yourselves?
to an extent, but that's always been, when Coach Porter came in here, he always emphasized pass protection first. Protecting the ball and pass protection. So, but at the same time, now, like, I mean, he's up there with the best of them, Drake. So you got to protect him or you can't win. So he needs time. You give him time. Obviously, you see what he can do. So yeah, it definitely there's some pressure on you. Just to not even for yourself, but just for the whole offense in general. Because if you miss a block or something, and everybody else has them, and then the play's bad because of you, it's some pressure on you. So.
Well, so staying there, what's the flip side of it? You are playing with a Heisman hopeful. You're playing with a record-setting
Yeah.
quarterback. How do you feel as a guy who gets to play with him, who does, catch the ball out of the backfield quite a bit? How much does that fire you up? How much do you guys enjoy being able to jump on a highlight reel just because of who you got calling signals?
Like, it's awesome. He brings that intensity every day. And he's a super competitor. Whether we're playing football in practice, intramural basketball, whether we're like golfing or something. Like, he's a competitor. He's definitely up there with the best of them. So you see him up there, and you just want to be better. He makes everybody better around him. So it's awesome to have a guy like that leading your team. So at the end of the day, we got to protect him, and good things will happen.
When people talk about North Carolina football, they talk about the offense like we've done on this podcast and in plenty of other podcasts, but all the naysayers want to talk about the defense and how the defense was not good last year at times. There were some highlights. There were certainly some positive moments. But what have you seen from the defensive side of the ball? I asked Drake the other day, how does the defense look? Because he sees them every day going up against them. And he felt like North Carolina's defense was sort of closing the gaps a little bit where the money plays. Anybody that's played Madden or any of those video games know that you go with this play, you're going to get that yards and all that. And he said the defense has done a good job of eliminating those. From the running back position, what have you seen from the defensive side of the ball that maybe can help North Carolina fans have a little bit higher expectations from Gene Chiswick's group in 2023?
Just overall, they looked a lot better this spring. Not you can't really knock on them. The offense nowadays. You see like every game, like teams are scoring like 40, 50 points. The lowest you see now is like you see 21 points on the board, 28 points. You're like, oh, they offense had a bad game. So like now, you can. A lot of people say it's the defense, but that's just how the offenses work now. Like it's not really a lot you can do. But obviously, this spring, they look really good. Up front they look really good, refreshed. A lot of guys rotating and stuff like that. Just on all cylinders, they look really good. So
I want you to give me a player on each side of the ball. It cannot be yourself, and it can't be Drake. And we'll say it can't be Said or Power on defense because everybody's going to pick those. But give me a player on offense and a player on defense that you think that in December of this year, after the season, North Carolina fans will be talking about that guy was special in 2023.
on offense, Ted Walker, that dude, he's gonna make some plays this year for us. He's been really good, and besides Power and Said on defense. Definitely probably Elijah Huzzy. He's he came in. He's really good. His footwork's really nice. We needed like a dog like that at corner. To come in and shut his side down. He coming from a smaller school. I feel like his mindset. He wants to prove something. To everybody. So he's definitely a dog, and I've seen flashes from him this spring. So hopefully, I think he'll pretty much have a big year.
Tommy, we are 3 for 3 in mentions of Elijah Huzzy on this podcast. Yep. Drake, Kamen, and now Caleb have all mentioned Huzzy as a breakout player on the defense. So for those who are listening and or watching this show, consider that what you will when you start getting amped for what the fall is going to look like. I'm going to throw you a softball here, Caleb. What play call, if you hear it, and I realize some things will change with the new offensive coordinator, but what's a play call when you hear it, you're like, you just get jacked about, like, all right, this is whether it's one where you're going to get a chance to hit somebody, where it's one that you're probably going to have a chance to get a touch. Like you tell me what's the play when you hear it in the huddle, you're like, oh yeah.
Any type of counter or power, I love gap scheme runs. Those are they're always my favorite runs. Even a quarterback at high school, we put in a bunch of quarterback power, quarterback counter runs. Either that or some type of wheel route. You're like, oh, I got a chance to go up and get it real quick. But those are always the ones that open your eyes a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, you might be able to make a play here.
All right, and again, I'm gonna ask you to be a little bit vulnerable too. Who's somebody when you see lined up on the other side of the field, and you're gonna have to go man to man with them? You're like, okay, this might be tough.
Oh, definitely Power. He brings it every day. So you see him, you're like, oh, you got to bring it because he's gonna bring it. So I definitely say Power.
Who's more intense, Drake May or Power Eccles?
Probably definitely Power. He always brings it every day. Not that Drake doesn't, but it's different when Power. He's always yelling and he's always fired up. So I don't know. I feel like sometimes he might wake up and just yell sometimes, but that's how he is. So
That's funny. Yeah, I've not seen him not intense ever being around the program. It's funny when you talk about those guys from a college student perspective. I mean, I always tell people, and I said this to Drake, and I say it to everybody: is college athletes are just regular students with a talent. You know, they've got more talent in football or basketball than most people do. Therefore, they play on a team. What's it like being a college student, that plays a sport, but being just a college student at University of North Carolina?
That's fun. You get to meet new people. I mean, you get to come to a prestigious college like UNC, get a great education. So football doesn't work. You got school to fall back on in your degree. So that's it's a great place to be. I've made great friends, a bunch of friends that aren't even involved in football at all. So it's been a fun ride, and I can't wait to just keep it going.
What's it like having brother at school with you and on the team with you?
It's awesome. He actually got switched to running back, and so I get to kind of bring him in under my wing, and just show him the ways because he was a receiver and now he switched to running back, and he got some playing time in the spring game. I was proud of him. He was excited, but yeah, it's awesome. Just getting to see him every day. Because I after my coming in during COVID. When I came early and skipped my senior season, I didn't know if I'd get to play with him again. Now we're back on the same team for a few more years, so we got a few more years left now.
Hey, look, now that there's two Hood boys in Chapel Hill, go ahead and you can spill the tea. Like Earl's basically got an apartment up here again, doesn't he? Or is he staying with y'all? Like is your dad basically just moving back to Chapel Hill now just to be at practice all the time?
Oh no, he's definitely at practice every day. He'll make the drive. He lives in Southern Pineville, but he definitely he makes that drive every day, especially the spring. It's past spring. He was up there every single practice. So
Yeah, he's always sharing highlights of you guys, and he's clearly your biggest fan. And tell us a little bit. What does that mean to have a guy? We talked about the legacy piece before, but what does it mean now to have your number one fan is a guy who has worn the uniform, who has walked through the tunnel, who has been on the same campus as a student as you are. How much of that do you feel a special connection to your dad because of those things? And are you guys sharing stories over some of that, or do you still feel like, nah, he's an old head? I just let him do his thing, and I'll do my thing.
definitely my mom and my sister Kylie are definitely tied with my dad for a number one fan. But yeah, sometimes he tells me some stories sometimes, but I kind of just keep his. He keeps all his stories, and I got mine. But definitely Coach Bly. He used to actually tell me like stories about him and my dad all the time whenever before he left. And every time my dad would come up, they'd laugh and like talk about their stories and stuff. But it's just I'm making my memories with all my friends. My dad loves Carolina. He comes back and sees his guys all the time. Come back to games and stuff. I think they have like some alumni tent. They go there at halftime or whatever. I know him and my brother talked about that my freshman year. But yeah, it's great having my dad played here. Just getting to hear about that and coming to games when I was younger as well. So it's just been awesome.
Yeah, we had him on the podcast a couple years ago
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
that's
were,
right.
yeah, and he spoke highly of that. I mean, of course, North Carolina fans remember the NC State play in Charlotte when he and David Bomar ended North Carolina State's chances of coming back there. Before we get out of here, and we're talking with Caleb Hood, North Carolina running back, Heels4Life. Um, has set this up and helped us with these and then collaborated with us for these great podcasts with North Carolina players. Tell us about your podcast with JJ Jones that you guys do.
Yeah, why are you coming for our job, Caleb?
Yeah, really. I mean, y'all
Right.
could just come on this one, but no, seriously, tell us what it's about, what you guys are hoping to accomplish, and get forth to the masses in that arena.
Well, so I mean, me and JJ, we're both we love to talk on on the camera and stuff. Just and like growing up, I know talking to him, like me and him, like used to look up like what it was like to be a college athlete, day in life, stuff like that, and like just hear like athletes talk and like about their stories and stuff. Like I'd like get a snack and just eat and just watch like a podcast or I watch like Bussin' with the Boys, stuff like that. Some just athletic uh, podcasts, like athletes that start their own thing. So we just want to get our stories out and just answer any question that anybody has about us, like get ourselves out there. Um, but we just love talking his community. I mean his major. Sorry, yeah, is media and journalism, and mine is communication. So, we like talking to people and just telling stories. So we're just trying to get that out there, and hopefully we can do something with it.
So, football career plays out however it does. What's the future away from football look like for Caleb Hood?
My dream job is to be a ESPN sports analyst, like Coach Brown was. I thought that was. I think that's really cool. So hopefully I can maybe go to the NFL for a few years and then fall back and be an analyst or some sort, even if it's like ACC Network, something like that.
He really does want our job, Tommy.
He's trying, yeah. I mean, look, Mac goes from coaching all his life to doing it to back to coaching. So, hey, I mean, it obviously is a pretty good gig if you can get it. And I always like seeing athletes in the journalism and the Me Joe type stuff because it's a natural fit. What's the
Absolutely.
worst thing, Joey, that you want to hear? You want to hear somebody that never played the game talk about the game.
Yeah.
Whereas
I don't want to hear from me.
yeah. Caleb, a couple more questions, a couple fun questions. I'm gonna let Joey ask the one on my list here, but video games. Do you play them?
Yeah.
And how competitive does it get? And what do you guys play when you have downtime?
I definitely play Fortnite. I'm on
Fortnite.
I'm on
That's the
Fortnite.
old.
If I got some free time, my girlfriend hates when I'm on there because I'll be on there for hours. But I'll be on there for a while. Me and JJ, Geo Biggers, Drake, some of us we're always on Fortnite, either that or Madden or 2K or something like that. But mostly Fortnite though, for sure.
So
What's on the Netflix? If you're watching something on streaming, what do you guys watch there in the house?
Most of them some crime stuff, like some investigation stuff. I was watching like The Night Agent, something like that. The other week, a few weeks ago, that was really good. So,
all right, so you got a day off. You mentioned golfing earlier. I'm not going to let you sleep. What are you going to do on your day off? When you don't have to report. You don't have to go to the training table or anything like that. What are you doing on your day off?
now I'm probably gonna go to the driving range. I just learned how to play actually, like last weekend. So it's fun. Like it's addicting. So I've been going. I went to Drive Shack like a few days ago. Then I went to the driving range and started practicing. But I was outside like swinging my clubs yesterday, just in the grass. So definitely probably go play golf or something somewhere.
Don't do it, man. Don't
Look
do it.
out.
You're gonna be our age going. You're gonna play. You're gonna stink all day. You're gonna hit one good shot and say, "I got to come back, man. I can
Yeah,
do it."
I feel like I almost got this thing licked because of one shot you hit on, somewhere on a course of 80 or 90 some strokes. You're going to hit one shot and feel like you can get your tour card tomorrow. All right, so you've got a free meal somewhere in Chapel Hill. All right, where are you going and what are you going to go eat?
I don't want to sound fat, but dude, cookout is my go-to. Like if I'm like, all right, I'm hungry. I want cookout. But recently I've been going to Cava, get like a little chicken and rice bowl with spinach and corn and some cheese with some Greek vinaigrette sauce, whatever you call it. That's been fire too. So, but I'd definitely say cookout.
See, Tommy, he's growing up now. He's getting to be an upperclassman. He knows how to give that like nutritionist friendly answer, but also he's still got the underclassman in where he gives the immediate knee jerk reaction of cookout. What's on your cookout tray?
All right, so this is all my friends laugh whenever I order it. I get a cheeseburger tray or a big double burger tray, whichever one. But I get like 3 pieces of extra cheese. I love cheese. That's like my favorite thing. I get 3 pieces of cheese, and then I get slaw and ketchup, and then I get Cajun fries and a corn dog with a sweet tea.
Yeah, the man. He's pumping the calories in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's better than.
I just had a small coronary listening to that story. So nice job.
I mean, I go for the bacon wraps. The ranch bacon wraps are great. And then I looked and see how much calories they have, and I'm like, yeah, they're not as good as they sounded. And at least you don't get 4 quesadillas like a certain Inside Carolina podcast person does. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, so training table meal in the football center. What's
Def-
good? What's not?
Definitely chicken Alfredo. They got some good chicken Alfredo with some broccoli. Throw some fruit in there too, and that's a pretty good meal right there. So, and I just love chicken Alfredo.
Wait. You throw fruit into chicken Alfredo, or
Oh
you mean
no,
fruit on the side?
no, just on like the side or something like that.
Okay. You said throw some fruit in there, and I thought I had lost complete touch with what the
Nah,
kids are doing these days.
nah, not the Alfredo.
So just to wrap, and again, we're talking with Caleb Hood, Heels for Life, Inside Carolina Players Lounge podcast. Caleb, 2023 is really right around the corner. South Carolina Labor Day weekend. It's coming soon. You got camp that'll open. Good gracious, you guys are already working out solid all the time, but camp in earnest opens in, I guess, 6 weeks, maybe, if that. What can North Carolina fans expect from this North Carolina team? We've talked about Drake May, we've talked about the defense, and we've talked about the running back room. But for you, as a player that's in it, that's in the arena every day, what can North Carolina fans expect to see when the season rolls around in September?
We're gonna compete. We're excited to get back out there and prove ourselves. To everybody. I feel like last year was kind of just testing the waters. We lost Sam, and some guys on defense, and we're just kind of like, I wonder how we're gonna be. Everything was in the air, but now we know what we got, and we're coming to compete. So I think it's gonna be a really fun year.
Caleb, last question. We'll let you go enjoy the rest of your day, and appreciate you making time for us, and appreciate Heels for Life helping to make this happen. You've heard Coach Brown talk about the best teams that he's ever coached are player-led teams. I think that transitions just from not just football, but goes into other sports as well. But you've now, like we said a second ago, you're an upperclassman now. What does being a leader mean to Caleb when you think about, all right, I need to be a leader? What is that?
Your example. You can't get people to follow you if you're not doing the right things as well. And they're not gonna if you're like doing like something wrong or something like that, and then you're trying to tell somebody to do something right. They're gonna be like, nah, you're especially young kids, young guys coming in. They're not gonna want to listen to somebody that's doing something bad, or like they see somebody slipping up. So you gotta build your example up to where even if you're not saying anything, they're looking at you and like, oh yeah, I want to be like that, or I need to act right, or so stuff like that. So but just building your example, and then once you do that, you don't even have to speak for real. So, but yeah, I'd definitely say your example.
Well, Tommy, there is your answer to the venerable question from the laureate DMX: Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at? He's right here with us on the 40 Club today. I'm sorry, on the Players Lounge today. And really appreciate you making time for us, Caleb. Thank you for humoring two old dudes. And again, this is hurting my heart to talk to the son of a contemporary on a podcast. But I'm just grateful for you for opening up with us today. And hopefully, if fans are intrigued by this and want to find out how they can support Caleb and all the other football players that are a part of the Heels for Life NIL Collective, go to heels4life.org. If you're watching, it's right there on the screen. If not, heels4life.org is how you can get involved, find out how you can support these guys as they go through their playing career at UNC. But that's all I got, Caleb. I appreciate it. Tommy, you want to sign off?
No, I again appreciate it to Caleb, appreciate it to Jacob for help connecting us to get this done, and appreciate everybody for listening and watching. And like Joey said, I said it before, don't boo, donate. Heels4Life.org, the way you can support North Carolina Football Collective, Inside Carolina Players Lounge, all that good stuff. Take care of them. They busted every day on that football field. Win or lose, like Mr. Hood said earlier, everybody competes. Caleb, appreciate you taking the time, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.